Hello, everyone, and welcome to our GOG Invitationals monthly series here at GOGI Games. It's March, it's the end of March, in fact, and every month we have a tournament to give out qualification points for our seasonal qualifiers. My name is Mick, I'm your host for today, and hopefully, there'll be somebody else who'll be joining us. But for now, it's just me. You're stuck with me. Hi, Ruben. Welcome to the stream. And a whole bunch of you. Ravi, VS. We're watching the match here between Faisal Rosmarudin and Brian Lim. And yeah. If you guys are watching us on Facebook, though, I have to, give you fair warning. In about 4 hours, you might want to switch it over to Twitch. So if you wanna, catch an interactive game, or you wanna make sure that your video viewing experience isn't tainted the entire time, go down to twitch.tv/GreyOgreGames. We love that you're on Facebook and all, but Facebook has some limitations when it comes to streaming. We'll try to keep it going as long as we can. Anyway, today it looks like we've got 21 players, and yeah. What's the Ariel? Competitive Ariel. Yeah. If they need a judge, call a judge. Yeah, just ask them to raise their hands and call a judge. I'm the only judge here. Anyway. Alright. So Brian here playing what looks like Grixis control. Faisal here also. Wow, no, Faisal is playing Esper control. Both players search for Ascanta on turn 2, which is where you want to be. Brian looks at the top card, doesn't put it in his graveyard. Jensen go in the chat saying go Faisal. Yeah, go Faisal. I also like team Brian. Come on, go Brian. We myself, Brian, and Ilham were in a drafting team. I wonder what happened to all the team drafts, but those were fun. Those were really fun. Here we go. World of Virtuoso hitting the battlefield. We're going to get him 3 energy. He has to use one of the energy from his, what you might call it, his Ada hub here. Alright, search for Ascanta. Look at the top card. Does he want to keep? Nope, he discards it. It's a fatal push, so doesn't see the need to keep that fatal push. I think you definitely want the lands. You so want lands. And it looks like he's going to pass back the turn with 3 mana open. I wonder what he could do with 3 mana. Actually, he can do quite a lot with 3 mana. There we go. Screen's a little bit brighter, so we can see the cards a little better. Whoa, fancy there. Top third token. This is the, I believe, is this the blue-white top third token? This one is the hard to find one. Very fancy. Very fancy. Jensen saying he's taking out the Death Note, and then, but then does he know Brian's full name? Well, we know Brian's full name. It's Lim Qian, but maybe Faisal doesn't know, so you can't really write it in. Yeah. Whoa. So many things shaking. Alright, so Faisal here doesn't get that land drop. He's gonna blow up one of Brian's lands, and I think you should be blowing up the red source. No, he blows up the blue source. And here Brian should be looking for an island. So double blue. Okay, so this kind of restricts Brian from getting like double blue mana. Well, he already didn't have double blue mana to begin with, because he used up all the energy to make the top tiers. And here Faisal goes for, well, that cracked Field of Ruin into fatal push, and Brian thinking, should I let that go? And maybe, yeah, okay, so he's going to power up his so he's going to cast Harness Lightning, which will get him 3 energy, and then use it to produce a Thopter token. Yeah. So Vraska's Contempt here goes into the graveyard. Not, doesn't really care about it. Finally gets another land and passes the turn. Brian here thinking, do I keep this? Do I keep this? Do I let it go? Brian's got 2 commit to memory, so I don't think he should be worried too much. Ooh, but that's a sweet card to have. Ilham Rizki saying, Brian is using my deck, by the way. Brian, it's Ilham is not really your deck. Brian's actually using only 3 Vraska's Contempt versus the 4 Vraska's Contempt. Oh, there we go. Essence Scatter. Gonna get rid of that annoying little Glint Sleeve Siphoner. Is that Essence Scatter? Yeah, that's Essence Scatter. Yep. And just gonna pass the turn. So no energy here for Brian. Also keeping up the Abrade. Monkas. What is Monkas? Monkeys? I guess. Anyway. Brian here gonna flip his Search for Azcanta, but I don't know whether he would want to flip it or not. Faisal here got 5 lands, so he's back on track with the land count. Brian missing his last two land drops. What is a Monkas? Oh, okay, that's what it is. All right, okay, Monka S, right? Glimmer of Genius. Gonna draw Faisal a few more cards. Brian here saving that commit to memory for when he needs it most, I suppose. Scry 2 keeps 1 on top, keeps 1 at the bottom. And Faisal here finds another land for his turn to make a land drop. Going to cycle away Hieroglyphics, and looks like he can flip his Search for Azcanta. So Faisal here might get the flip Search for Azcanta before Brian. And yeah, he's going to keep it on top, but he's going to flip it anyway. Approach of the Second Sun. He's got 2 more lands, which means that he can cast Approach of the Second Sun and have negate backup. Paradon saying Monkas is a great emote, but unfortunately it's not here. Okay, so Brian gets to flip it, but he does discard a land to flip it over. And does he dare go for the Liliana? That's my question. Liliana's Death Majesty is a very strong card, especially in this type of matchup. But he might be worried that Faisal here has a Approach of Second Sun. And there it goes, negate, probably. And then approach. So 4 mana. What is 4 mana? He's gonna look for cards first. I think he'll take the disallow. Might just play the disallow here, I believe. No, negate instead. Okay. I would have thought he'd leave the negate for later, but he does draw an Essence Scatter. And just going to pass the turn, not allowing Brian to resolve anything at the moment. Faisal here goes down to 9. Finds another land. And yeah, Brian with the Confiscation Coup, but Confiscation Coup looks like it's not going to be doing anything. I actually like this card. I like this card a lot. Liliana Death's Majesty. create like the plus one gets you, you know, some protection, fills up your graveyard. Very good with search for Ascanta. And then the -3 is basically after you're running through the plus ones, you know. Oh, okay. So Brian here. Here's the thing, like I thought Faisal should have disallowed just now and then kept the negate here, but it doesn't really matter. And this is the worst part, is that Brian is keeping that card second from the top, which kind of bad. Alright. Not the best, of course, unless he wants to go Essence Scatter, dealing with the Glintsleeve Siphoner. Of course, Brian here has another. Ooh. So second approach here, Brian has to deal with that. He has to counter it, otherwise Faisal will win this game. Unfortunately, I think Faisal has it wrapped up because he's got a disallow in hand. He's got enough mana for that disallow. No, that's not how it works. Faisal wins the game. Like he cast it he cast it before. So well, anyway, it didn't really matter because Brian here had misplay here by Brian, but it didn't really matter because Faisal had a disallow in hand that Brian knew about, and nothing much that you could do. Pact of Negation would have been awesome, but no, I don't think Pact of Negation is legal and standard right now. All right, so game one here goes to Faisal. Go team Faisal, yeah. And Brian here going to sideboard out some stuff. Danny on the stream saying go F bro. Danny, how are you watching the stream? Aren't you at the RPTQ or something, you know, in Japan, or no, not the RPTQ, the GP in Japan? Did you not make day 2? I'm wondering. Anyway, if you just joined us, you're watching the monthly series here at Grey Ogre Games. At the end of every month, we have a tournament that, the biggest prize is that you get qualification points that will allow you to participate and maybe get bonuses for the seasonal qualifiers, which is held every 3 months. You do well at the seasonal qualifiers, you get invited to the championship at the end of the year. And last year, our champion is, Jeffrey Chan, of course. I say of course because I was rooting for Jeffrey the entire year long. He is in all my lists of who to draft. Like he's in my fantasy draft pick all year long, every time he plays. So yeah, come on. But you can be a champion just like Jeffrey if you know just take part. If you want to find out more information of how you can take part, just go on down to greyogregames.com. Alright, so sideboarding time. Who are you guys rooting for? Let me know in the comments. Well, obviously there's a few, F-Bro supporters. Let's see. Lex Young saying doesn't matter, get counter or not, cast twice, win game. Yes, that's true. No, it didn't matter because I think Brian just like misplayed there. You know, long time never read the cards, never play standard. Yeah, that first spell counted if you cast that spell. Even if it got counted, it doesn't really matter. But you did cast the spell. And when the second one resolves, so you need the second one to resolve to win the game. So that's the difference. All right. Yeah, it's a nice Sunday afternoon here. You guys, if you're watching from wherever you are, thanks for watching. I know that right now there's a GP Kyoto that's taking place, and that's what most people are watching. But we're thankful that you're watching here. So, and it doesn't really matter. Like this lives on in YouTube, YouTube land as a video. YouTube.com/GreatOgreGames, and yeah, you can watch it there whenever you want to. You can go to sleep right now if it's like 12 midnight wherever you are, like 1:40 a.m. on the East Coast. You could ostensibly just go to sleep. Tomorrow morning, all the videos will be there for you to watch. And you can just watch it as a stream wholesale on YouTube. But of course, watching right now is better because you get to talk to us. Or you get to talk to me at least. Hopefully there'll be somebody else who'll be joining me after a few rounds. Today we have 21 players. That's only 5 rounds of Swiss. But next week is going to be our seasonal qualifiers. I expect a lot of people to be there. Seasonal qualifiers, by the way, are free. Okay, you are invited. You need to score at least 30 qualification points during the season. As compared to last year, our season is now only 3 months long instead of 4 months long. But still awesome. Still fun for people to play. All right. Brian here still deciding on his what you call it? Deciding on his sideboard. And deciding whether to keep a Harness Lightning or a Vraska's Contempt. And I think the Vraska's Contempt is better. A Braid might be useful-ish. I don't know. I honestly don't know if a Braid is that useful. Jensen's asking who is the favorite in this matchup. I don't know because these two are control matchups. I'll be right back. There's a judge call. Entertain yourselves. Whoa. Okay, so yeah, judge call there was for looking at extra cards. They accidentally flipped the top card over. So yeah, I'm gonna just double check. It's a simple remedy. Infraction general procedure guides. Tournament error. Looking at extra cards. The deck list problem also. Hidden card error. There. Looking at extra cards. A player takes an action that may have enabled them to see the faces of cards in a deck that they were not entitled to see. This penalty is applied only once if one or more cards are seen in the same action or sequence of actions. Additional remedy is basically to shuffle any previously unknown cards into the random portion of the deck, then put any known cards back in their correct location. So no, we used to have this like drawing extra cards, and drawing extra cards also put looking at extra cards together. And those of you who have no clue what I'm talking about, don't care about judge rulings, you can tune out right now. Anyway, we're starting the match again. Faisal, Brian here gets to go first. It looks like he's going to keep his hand. Faisal going to scry. Both players going down to 6, both getting to scry. So yeah. Grey Ogre Games saying hi, Mick. Hi, who is Grey Ogre Games? Make yourself known, because we have many people here under the under that coining Grey Ogre Games. Here we go. Duress turn 1. Or turn 2, sorry. Turn 2 Duress going to take away your search for Ascanta. Faisal here. Good guy Faisal. Going to play with hands open. Ruben saying hi Mick. Jensen saying hi Mick. Hello everyone. Hi Ruben. Hi Jensen. Jensen, why aren't you here? Are you playing Final Fantasy? I want to play Final Fantasy so bad. I just want to play some Final Fantasy. But of course, watching Grey Ogre Games. And if you like Final Fantasy, do tune in to our stream every Friday. Friday 8 p.m. Singapore time, twitch.tv/Grey Ogre Games. Final Fantasy. Oh, Jensen saying you're in Vietnam. Are you in Vietnam forever? Is that your new job or what? I don't know. And good thing like Vietnam's getting like streams. There's internet in Vietnam, because I know places where Vietnam, like places where internet is no good at all. Jeffrey just joined the stream. Hi Jeffrey, welcome to the stream. We were just talking about you earlier. I was fanboying over you. There we go. Gonti here. Leaving that one blue mana open, which is kind of strange. Essence Scatter going to get dispelled. And Gonti here hits the battlefield. And let's see what Brian here takes. I think you take the negate. Yeah, you take the negate. The rest of it is what? Field of Ruin. That 2 mana guy that draws you the cards. Yeah, Jeffrey say lepak day today. Why? But you could play and get QPs, and qualify yourself for the seasonals and get some practice for the seasonals. The seasonals next week is modern, by the way. So maybe there's not what I just said about getting practice. Is not very true, but of course it's still good. Still good. Alright, Approach of the Second Sun in hand. And what's the other card that Faisal has? I wonder. Glinsey Siphoner here, going to hit the battlefield. Is that going to draw a counter spell from Faisal? No more Essence Scatters, so... Jensen's asking, isn't Jeffrey already qualified as defending champion? Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. Jeffrey, you good at the game. That's why. Oh right, it's a mark of the something hunger thing. Yeah, gets -2/-2 and gains 2 life. Yeah, but the Gonti is still gonna be like bashing in. Brian here just wants lands. Does he have more lands in hand? Field of Ruin will be a very good card later on. Gonna try a second Glinsleeve Siphoner. Just gonna pass the turn. Vraska's Contempt on that Glinsleeve Siphoner. Very curious as to what Brian is gonna try to do. I think he'll negate that. And keeps his Glinsleeve Siphoner. He's just gonna pass the turn. So Brian here most probably will be able to draw the extra card. Faisal here might just want to slam and just go for the Approach of the Second Sun. Slam that land and then play, unless that land comes into the battlefield tapped. I mean, he still does have. Oh, okay. So he's gonna go for the torrential gear Hulk, but still doesn't deal with the Gonti on Brian's side of the table. Thinking, all right, so he dispenses away with the Gear Hulk with a Vraska's Contempt. Which is probably why Brian here kept the Abrades as well. Okay, slam a land, play that Approach of the Second Sun. It's gonna be place the 7th card from the top. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and it's gonna be the 7th card from the top of the deck. Jeffrey saying, I'm quite bored of the current standard, and of course getting some flag from Danny. Easy, like, queue up for the RPTQ early. You don't have to bother with standard for the rest of the season. Faisal here up to 21 and is 7 cards away from potentially winning the game. Brian here kind of needs an out to all this. He's going to Doomfall. You discard a card, which is just a land. Yeah. It doesn't get to pick the non-land card, so it's okay. So Gonti is slowly getting in, tickling Faisal, but Gonti isn't a 10-turn, isn't a 7-turn clock. Needs to be a bit more gas to Gonti. And Brian here is just going to pass the turn. Drew that Glimmer of Genius. Gonna let Faisal resolve that Glimmer of Genius. And fortunate that there's a search for a second sun on top, and Brian here trying to calculate. Okay, so you dug two cards in, so he's 3 cards in. Jensen asking, does Approach of the Second Sun do anything else? Let's bring up Approach of the Second Sun, shall we? So, if Approach of the Second Sun was cast from your hand, and you've cast another spell named Approach of the Second Sun this game, you win the game. Otherwise, put Approach of the Second Sun into its owner's library, 7th from the top, and you gain 7 life. So, this is interesting because you have to cast it from hand, and then you have to cast it from hand, and you have to have cast Approach of the Second Sun, from the game or during the game, which means that you can't Approach of the Second Sun and then just hold it in stasis. For example, you play Delay. Okay, so you play Delay for like 0 mana, and then you cast Approach of the Second Sun again. That doesn't work. Alright, so Faisal here smartly does not go for the second Approach of the Second Sun. If only there were things that allowed us to cast stuff at instant speed. Or cast sorceries at instant speed. So yeah, Brian here just gotta be on on his toes. Don't give in to temptation. Alright, Torrential Gearhawk. Gets disallowed. Alright. Number 1, Brian here needs a clock. And number 2, he needs a counter spell. Arguel's Bloodfast. Is that going to be countered? Nope. Lets it go. Swings in. And just passes the turn. So Faisal here trying to get to 2 of the Approach of the Second Sun. I'm gonna try to get rid of the Gonti, deal 3 damage, gain 3 life. Is that Dark Nourishing? No, not Dark Nourishing. I forget what's the spell called. But anyway. Might just go for the Approach of the Second Sun now. Nope. Passes the turn. Argua's Bloodfast here. Brian here desperately looking for a counter spell somewhere. Relatively far behind in this game, and he is already 1 game down. But let's see if Brian can pull it out the hat, because Faisal here next turn is gonna go probably Approach of the Second Sun, followed by next turn Approach of the Second Sun. Nope, just gonna pass the turn. He's gonna wait for the 7th card to be drawn, probably. Alright, getting all the lands. Vraska's Contempt is not a negate. I'm just going to pass the turn. So just keeping up as much mana as he can so that he can draw as many cards as possible. And Faisal obviously not going to crack that that Evolving Wilds, because the next card is Approach for a Second Sun. Let's draw some cards. Man, that is very, very unfortunate. It's not a lot of... Not drawing any gas of the Arguel's Bloodfast. He's drawing a lot of removal, which is not very useful at this point in time. You know, you're at 10. Go dig more. Go down to 6. Nobody cares. You can do it. Alright, so commit. Commit is useful. It's not... Search for Ascanta here. No counter spells on Faisal's side. Jensen's asking what is Faisal setting up for. I think he's just trying to, you know, make sure that he can resolve a Second Sun, Approach of the Second Sun. Although he could have just gone for it just now. Waiting for Brian to get a little bit greedy, tap out. And then, you know, Faisal might be able to fire off, or he has a critical mass of counter spells. Then he can fire off the Approach of the Second Sun and, you know, have just a lot of counter spell backup. Maybe draw a second Approach of the Second Sun somewhere along the way. And at this point, yeah, Faisal just gonna pass the turn. Alright, take a bit more. Okay, go down to 4. A bit more. Gonna flip Argos, Blood Fast, gonna get some mana. And I think that one goes to the bottom of the deck. That should not stay on the top of the deck. Oh, more lands. Not a lot of gas from Brian. Think might be playing the second Search for Ascanta and then pass the turn. So here Brian has like 9-10 mana open. He's got I think he's got a Gearhawk in hand. Okay, no, Faisal has a Gearhawk, right? Jensen's asking, does his deck even have a way to fight against Faisal? Brian's deck, I believe, should have some counter spells. We saw like negates. We also saw like dispels, and Brian here may be looking for creatures that just gain you incremental value. That Glimmer of Genius should be exiled, by the way. Gonna braid at the end step. Get rid of your big fatty. At this point, I think Brian should be a little bit afraid of big fatties on Faisal's side. Activate search for Skanda. Okay, so activate the temple. Gonna try to look for non-creature cards. A whiff on all four. Brian here finally getting the duress. And yeah, every land counts. Duress you. Wow. This is a very long drawn out match. And Faisal here might be attempting to prevent that. Okay, so Glimmer of Genius resolves. There's a disallow. There we go. Disallow stops the duress. So this, this should be a signal to Brian. Okay, I should go all in for it. It allows that disallow to go. Okay, all right, interesting. Might be a little bit worried to play that Liliana, but I think he has to win at some point. And we are like 10 minutes left in the game. Liliana hits the battlefield. Faisal here has a Vraska's Contempt. Right, gets back the Gonti. Gonna take a look at Faisal's deck. And takes the Torrential Gearhawk, which you can use next turn as a counter spell. Yeah, but it's a 6 mana counter spell. Of course, you get a 5/6 body, which is quite nice. I mean, like, why wouldn't you want a giant monster on your side of the battlefield and counter your opponent's spell? There we go. Field of Ruin. I'm just gonna get rid of your Search for Ascanta. I think that's fine. That's fine. Yeah, no worries. He's already got another Search for Ascanta on the battlefield. And Brian not gonna look through his deck for a basic. Oh, okay. So Faisal here, yeah. So this is one of the things in that was updated about communication is that if your opponent doesn't look for a land, you are supposed to prompt or doesn't look for whatever they were supposed to look for. You don't assume that they didn't want to search for it. Do you guys get what I mean? So, for example, if you like Path to Exile something, right, and your opponent just chooses not to search, and this is very common in Modern, um, you can't. You basically can't. Like you're supposed to tell your opponent or ask your opponent, hey, you don't want to search for lands. You're supposed to confirm the negative. Yeah. So yeah, as competitive as you might be, like that, those are the rules and those are new communication guidelines. Torrential Gearhawk gets eaten up by an Essence Scatter. Vraska's Contempt gonna eat up the Liliana. And Faisal here comfortable again at 20 life. Brian here needs a way to win this game. Oh, this 10-turn clock is slow. Okay, Will of Virtuoso here hits the battlefield. Will be able to get off 2 activations from his Will of Virtuoso, which means that the total power on the board was going to be 6. And so Faisal has to do something about it. Okay. So Brian here might pop out 2 Topters and then sacrifice his Whirler Virtuoso to bring him up to 7. Brian here gonna produce 2 Topters. Is he gonna sacrifice? No, he doesn't choose to sacrifice the Whirler Virtuoso. I think he had more than enough mana. I think you can activate your that temple to gain you some life, especially since you're at 4, which means that if you get another Arguel's Blood fast, you can just like start searching, start drawing cards. Yeah, and finds out here lots of cards. Brian not gonna flip his Search for Ascanta. Gonna attack in with the entire gang. Still slightly faster Cloud Duress here, and takes out the second approach of the second sun. Faisal gets to flip his Search for Ascanta, which I think he needs desperately. Swing for another 4, bring him down to 13. Okay, trying to speed up the clock. So now it's a 2-turn clock from a 3-turn clock. And that will allow Brian to draw a few extra cards. Faisal here. Gonna search, probably in response. Vraska's Contempt is a very good card to have. He's gonna reveal it. Okay, so Essence Scatter. Takes the Essence Scatter instead. Gonna Essence Scatter your Glint Sleeve Siphoner. We have 4.5 minutes left. This is probably the last game or last table to resolve the games. And Brian here just thinking, do I let that resolve? Do I want it that badly? Okay, so he's gonna commit the Essence Scatter, put it second from the top, which means that Faisal might be able to get it later on in the game. But Glint Sleeve Siphoner here might resolve. Okay, Supreme Will to try to counter that, but of course Faisal here does get to take a look at the next two cards. And because he plays the Supreme Will here, Faisal won't be able to play the Essence Scatter. Brian here is gonna get to be able to draw another card next turn, for the next 2 turns too. Cool. Maybe for the next 3 turns. 1, 5, 6. Yeah, for the next 3 turns. But he'll be down to 1, which is very, very dangerous, I think. Unfortunately, there's no spell in Faisal's possession to take advantage of that. But the Glint Sleeve Siphoner dies anyway, so... Man, I'm curious why Brian doesn't activate his temple to gain him some life, because that is very, very important, especially for situations like this. He missed out on 4 life. This allows definitely the take here, 3 lands. So Faisal slowly building up his hand again. Brian at some point of this game had to discard to hand size. For more damage. Faisal down to 5 here. Yeah, this has been quite a long match. Players have about 30 seconds before the end of the round. And Faisal here needs to find a way. That's the second approach. So he's going to take the second approach to the second sun. But does he go for it? That's the question. Does he have another counterspell in hand? Gonna try to look for more cards. Fatal Push, Irrigated Farmland, not interesting. Draw 2 more cards. Land, Fatal Push, not particularly interesting. Fatal Push, get rid of one of your top tiers. Doesn't change the turns. Approach for a second sun. That gets negated. No problem. I'll go for a second approach of the second sun. Does Faisal want to fire it off? No, he fires it off, and if Brian here doesn't have an answer, Faisal wins the game and wins the match. It's turn 0 right now. But he's gonna let Brian look at more cards. Wow, this is just one of the things about control versus control. Pretty tough. Pretty tough. This is a pretty long drawn out match. Yeah. Jia Hao Li asking, is it not 5 turns yet? No, because 1 turn for the control player takes like forever. Consign to Oblivion. Oblivion, you discard 3 more cards. I'm gonna look for, or you discard 2 cards. Alright, search for Ascanta instead. Discards land, search for Ascanta. And Faisal here, I believe this should be turn 3. There we go, it's just a land. And go approach of the second sun. He's got nothing, and there's a handshake. Well, he had nothing since. Well, Brian didn't have an answer since God knows when. Faisal here just playing it safe and giving the audience a nice show. Albeit a very dragged out long show, but yeah. So Faisal here goes 2 games to 0, wins the first round. But there's 4 more rounds to go. You know, you never know who might walk away the champion today. And we'll be back with round 2 in a short bit. I'll put on a very short replay, don't worry. But before we go, just want to remind you that you can join us on the stream every Tuesdays and Wednesdays, 8 p.m. Singapore time. You can also find the videos on youtube.com/Grey Ogre Games. And if you want to find out more about the Grey Ogre Games Invitationals, make sure you visit greyogregames.com. That's Grey with an E, Grey. Alright, we'll be back shortly. Don't go away.